Okay, good afternoon, good morning. It's actually both for me. It's almost afternoon. So it's been, I think, a couple of weeks since I did one of these for the public. You know, we do a lot of them for our Discord group, but, you know, things have been kind of boring, so I didn't really think there was a whole lot to talk about. You know, price has just kind of been staying in the same area, although I do expect volatility until really maybe even after the U.S. presidential election, and I'll bring up that chart since I'm talking about it already. I mean, so far, if we zoom into this, so far it's pretty much following this plot that was that I plotted back in April of this year. Now, I'm not saying this line has to hold, but that's the line we're looking for to see if this trend line holds. I think it would show a lot of weakness if it stayed under there for a while. If you were to get maybe a couple daily closes or a weekly close below that, then, you know, it could even come down to here, you know, to 30K or so. But I don't really think that's the case unless we had something like a, you know, black swan event like we did over here. But, you know, we did go up pretty hard. So that's why we're seeing this zone of consolidation. And I've talked about it before, but it's been a while, so I'll mention it again. But, you know, this shoulder right here, you could consider this a shoulder, this a head. Usually what the, and I don't know, maybe it's just, you know, maybe it's not the market makers do it this way. Maybe it's just how people tend to trade, you know, as a collective. But usually what happens is this comes down somewhere in here and it creates another shoulder. And that's typically the fake out for the next uptrend. So people think it's going to roll over and come all the way down here, and instead it goes up. And you can see it over and over, you know, historically. I mean, this was more of a, you know, an anomaly in my opinion, but you can see this shoulder, this head, this shoulder, and instead of rolling over, it went up. So you had your first impulse, you had your consolidation, and then a slow creep up during the halving to U.S. presidential date. You know, election date. This was back in 2020, and then it took off again for the what was ultimately the real alt run. So you know, if you caught this, you did real well. If you took your profits around March or April, like I mentioned over and over during March, that it looked like things were going to roll over, then, you know, now you're going to be able to redeploy that money and make even more, in my opinion. I'm not saying it has to work out like it always has historically, but that's the way I'm looking at it. Until this breaks, you know, if I was to see something like a weekly candle way down here after the halving, I mean, after the U.S. presidential election date, then it would give me reason to pause and say, well, you know, maybe we're back into another bear market. You know, maybe this was the bull market and we're in another, I hate to say it that way, but, you know, you could also call it a downtrend. That's a better way to put it. So these next, whatever that is, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, I think that's about right. What is it now? October? No, we're in September still, aren't we? Okay, so 2 months. Yeah, I'd say give it 2 months and we'll know for sure. I mean, we have tried to test this breakout and get back out of it, but haven't been able to do it yet. So I think it takes one more flush, and then, you know, maybe this next time we'll break through it. But I really feel like it's not going to happen until after the election. So what could happen in the meantime is just how I have it drawn currently, is we get some kind of short-term move back up, but it doesn't break anything. You know, it just rejects again. And if that does happen, if it does play out that way, then it's just more volatility until, you know, a little bit after the election, maybe even as much as a month after the election. So, you know, something like this is what I'm expecting. It doesn't always play out exactly the same. Fear greed is kind of just stuck in the middle. Looks like it wants to roll over further down, so seems like people are more fearful right now, or just bored in general. I mean, that tends to happen around this time. But if this does play out, then our top, in my opinion, happens around October 2025. And I've said that for at least a year now. And if it does happen, then this is the best outcome for us, because that allows us to see those higher valuations for Bitcoin, and, you know, of course the alts receive the benefit from that as well. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? I mean, just in general, and I don't want to spend too much time on Bitcoin, but since it is the thing that affects most of the alts, we do have to look at it. And I was telling our Discord about this. You can see here momentum was coming up while price was coming down. That's a bullish divergence. And I think I actually mentioned it up here, but it came down one more time. But it bounced right off this support level that I had already drawn, and pretty good move out of it. But what we're looking at right now is we need to see if it can get above 56 or 57.6K, this line that I've got right here. So that's the resistance currently. And it's more like a zone, and it doesn't have to be just a single line. But if it can get above that and close a daily candle, then it's probably going to test this next line. And it could even come all the way up to here, and that would be a pretty good fake out, because most people would think that it's just ready to go at that point. I think there's still more volatility to come, but you could take advantage of this move. And the neat thing about the way we have our Discord set up right now, I think a lot of you would enjoy it if you're looking for a group to get into, and I'll show you here. So we've got a channel. Well, number one, most of you know that I do a lot of smart money stuff, following smart money wallets. So I've got channels for that. But the main channel that we have added since I've done a video, I think I may have shown this one time, but this is called Engineering Robo AI. That's exactly what you're seeing here with these AI buy, AI sell signals, and then this social intelligence score up here. But what this does is, this is on a daily chart basis. It'll tell you, I think we track about 150 coins right now that we're, most interested in. Things like our spreadsheet tokens that we research. I've showed that many times. If you're interested in stuff like that, we've got a really nice list of high conviction coins, that sort of thing. But what this does is, it'll tell you each day if any, buy signals or sell signals are showing up for these tokens. And then at that point, you can make a decision if you want to enter into these tokens. And when we see that there's a lot of sell signals, we know that it's likely going to mean that the market is in a downtrend. When we see a lot of buy signals start to show up, probably means things are turning around. And you can see we started seeing a cluster of AI sell signals. When was this? Okay, this was the last buy right here. So anywhere from August 28th to about September, 1st? Yeah, so you can see that's about when Bitcoin, at least on the 3 hour, let's see what it was showing on the daily. Yeah, see, even here, we knew, because a lot of the alts were starting to bleed a little bit. We knew way back here before Bitcoin even gave a sell signal on the daily chart. In fact, we knew at the very top. Here it is right here, August 25th. So we know when we see those sell signals, it could mean it's time to get out, but we have to see multiple sell signals. And the first day that we saw that was September 1st, I believe. Well, here's two on one day. So, well, no, here's another two. Okay. Well, no, that was a buy. Okay, so this day right here was a kind of a warning, August 28th. Where are we at? August 28th. Yeah, that'd been right in here. So, we had that rejection off this line right here. Had a really big drop, and it just hasn't recovered since. So until it gets back above this line, we can't even expect that it could get back up here to, give this upper trend line a test. So it's not really looking bullish to me just yet, but I think it's not far off. Have that money ready if you've got some money to deploy. And I probably should have said this at the first, but of course this isn't financial advice. It never will be. I do care about everybody out there, whether you're in my group or not. Make sure that you're only spending your money for bills, because you don't want to get behind. You don't want to be in debt, especially these days. Take care of your family first, that sort of thing. But if you do have disposable income, then you can, that's okay to deploy, I feel like, into crypto. Money is an abstract thing. It's sure, you need it for bills, but apart from that, you can lead a very good life being debt free. You don't need a bunch of things. You don't need a fancy car or a boat or things like that. In my opinion, the most important thing is family, and God on top of that. But, it's just important to appreciate the simple things in life. I think you'll be a lot happier that way, in my opinion, but, to each their own. So off my soapbox, and let's get into a couple other things here. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, ask in the comments or, reach out to me on Discord, whatever. But if you do want to join our Discord, I think I kind of went through this enough. I mean, we got many other channels, we got signal channels, stuff like that. But we've even got like a long-term play channel where you can see some of our higher conviction. And then we got spreadsheets for like AI and RWA, stuff like that, specific narratives. But yeah, this Engineering Robo AI, and you can actually buy Engineering Robo AI for yourself and get this. I've also got a link for that in the description if you're interested in that. Or if you want to get into the Nansen smart money research, which I'll show in a little bit, you can look into that in the description as well. Not trying to sell you anything. I just put these things out there because I use them, and I would never recommend anything that I don't use. I do believe Engineering Robo AI is the best indicator on TradingView or indicator package. I believe Nansen's the best smart money product. And what's the other thing? And I believe our Discord is the best Discord, but we're not looking to grow the Discord to, hundreds and hundreds of members. I'm just trying to help as many people that are willing to listen to me, just organically. I'm not trying to sell the Discord. So let me just check some messages here. Okay. Oh yeah, AIPG doesn't look good at all. I remember now. Well, this is just that thing that I was posting on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, about the bullish divergence that showed up. Oh yeah, I put the alt bounce levels here. If Bitcoin was to get down to these levels, those are the levels you want to watch for. So if you're not following me on Twitter, it's at Bike for Sale. Oh yeah, AIPG, here it is. So I made a point on August 23rd that if AIPG, it was just starting to break above the 50 RSI at the time, but I said it still needs to get above this trend line. And I don't know if it ever did that. I don't think it did, because what happened was it actually fell down further. So I still hold this one. I don't know why necessarily, but it was already down so much, I just kept holding it. I didn't buy a lot of this because I wasn't too sure of it. I mean, it could be finding support here. I don't know. It broke down from the support that I had. And it's just kind of weak right now, right? But it is in the 30 RSI range, which we've talked about that before. That's usually the best time to buy. But you can see here, if you would have bought 30 before, at the 30 RSI before, you still would have just kept losing money on this one. So it's just a weak project, but it did temporarily break above that trend line, if that's the right trend line that I had. I don't remember exactly. What did I have that set at? Oh, okay, so it didn't break over the trend line. So this is how I had it set up. It got above the 50 RSI, which is usually a good sign, but it didn't stay above there. It actually created a lower high, and then it broke down further. So, we'll see. I don't know. I'm not really, I've gotten to a point to where I helped create a few tokens, and after seeing how everything works from the inside, I have no conviction as far as fundamentals on any token anymore, because any team can just, leave the project at any time if they want, and it's just not worth putting your full conviction in any token. The way to handle it is take your profits as you get them, have your target set at 5x, 10x, whatever they are. Take your profits, move on to the next project. Have a conviction, of course, have a conviction one way or the other, but don't fall in love with the token, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, so we talked about all of that. I don't think there's anything else to talk about on the Twitter. Let's just look at Nansen real quick. Oh yeah, I do want to show this. So this is kind of smart money Nansen on-chain data. And I want to read this to you first, because just so you'll understand what you're looking at. So I'm gonna look at something called the breadth, BREADTH indicator, breadth. It measures the percentage of coins listed on CoinGecko that have rising moving averages. And so basically it's like we're wanting to see if things are bullish on a macro sense or if they're bearish. And we know it's pretty much bearish right now. But what I'm going to show you here in just a second is there's going to be a 30-day moving average above the 360-day. So you have to see that to feel like we're macro bullish, or you have to see the 90-day above the 360 or the 180-day moving average above the 360. So they just put here that they backtest two strategies. A strategy that goes long when the share of coins with rising moving averages crosses above the threshold of 10% of total coins, and long USDC when the share falls below. So they're basically saying, they're longing Bitcoin. I don't know why or maybe they're saying or ETH when the share of coins, when the moving averages are moving up. Well, 10% of the total coins are moving up. So like if you see a 30-day moving above a 360-day, that means, let me make sure I got that right. Yeah, the threshold of at least 10% of total coins has to be above that 90 above 360-day. And I'm going to show you that and you'll understand it better in a second. Or, if it's under that amount, if the moving average is moving down, then, they're long USDC, they're into stable coins. So here's what it looks like. And I've showed it before, but, if you're new, you probably haven't seen this. So just historically speaking, only pay attention to the purple line here, by the way, because that's the percentage of coins with cross 30-day above 360-day. So your 30-day moving average is above the 360-day moving average. And currently you can see that's not the case, although it is moving down into the entry threshold, which historically has been a good time to buy. And here's what I mean. So here's February to March 2023. And then here is October, November 2023, which we all know was the first major move. But let's look really quick at as it crossed this threshold, February, March 2023, and just see what Bitcoin was doing. Where's it at? Yeah, so that was really the first impulse out of the bottom. So there you go, right there. That was the first move. And then here's October. Here's the second move. So if you were looking at it from an Elliott wave perspective, this could be 1, 2, 3, and now we're waiting for 4, which is probably, in my opinion, somewhere down here. And then it takes off for number 5. Where are we at? Okay. So what I'm looking for, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so what I'm looking for then is at the very least for this purple line to start flattening out. And usually that's when it's time to get in. Notice how it flattened out here before the move up, flattened out here. It took it a while here, of course, because this was the bear market. But then when it broke out of that flattened area in February, actually this was the time to be buying, right? Because December, let's see, this was, 1st of January roughly was the time to get in on that one. Where's 1st of January? Yeah, so that's right here. So you had actually been buying while it was flattened like this. So here's the flat area. You bought before it. And we're not quite, flattened out. This could take a week or two or, maybe even longer. So, just be aware that I'm not really seeing it just yet, but it's coming, I believe. It would surprise me to see this come down here and just stay down here for an extended period of time, even though it happened here. But we'll just have to see. If it does do this, then what we would be looking for is for these two lines to get above the yellow line, because that's exactly what happened here. If you were just being safe, then that's what you would wait for. Let's see, November 7th is, what was that looking like? Be down here maybe. Yeah, see, if you would have waited till November 7th, then you would have missed, quite a bit of a move there. But, if you wanted to wait for that cross, that's what you'd be looking at. By the way, you have to be on the Nansen Professional, Nansen Alpha, what do you call it, plan for this to be able to see this. And, I'll keep showing it. You don't need that. It costs about $10,000 to be able to get access to something like that. But that's part of what we did with our Discord, is that we used some of the membership fees to purchase alpha like this that'll help us find bottoms, help us find tops. And we've done a very good job. I mean, even before this thing started turning over, I was telling people, March looks like, March 2024 looks like that was, the top for now. And it turned out to be that way. So I think that even on Twitter, I've helped people, both in Discord and Twitter, get in on dips and get out on tops this year. And last year, we helped start. I think our Discord started in November last year. But anyway, we're going to keep doing that for our members. And I do post it on Twitter, but sometimes it's a few days after. So you'd be able to take advantage of it much quicker if you did want to join us. So that's what I'll be looking for. If it does flatten out and just go sideways for a while, I want to see it get back above these two lines. This purple line has to get back above those two. And then I'll feel much more confident because that's what happened back here. But this sell-off is just a bull flag in my opinion, and you can see it much better. Like if I turn this off, this looks like a bull flag, right? Like here was a more extreme bull flag. This is more sideways action, not really a bull flag, but this one's just taking longer to play out, and we'll just have to see how much longer it has to go. But there is going to be a good discounted price to buy in here somewhere if it does fall down. And your area to buy alts would be either somewhere around 47K or somewhere around 38 to 42K, something like that, because there's a lot more support in those areas, and usually it finds its way back down to support. And you're seeing right now that we're getting down to this little shoulder area right here, the small shoulder, and that's why I think we could actually, it did touch it, didn't it, right there, or it touched it here. And sometimes what'll happen is you'll get another little bounce up to here, and then it falls one more time down into the last area. So just be aware it can still chop, and then maybe within a month after a presidential election, we'll get that next move up. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, a lot of people say that if Trump gets in, then crypto would do better. I don't know. It really depends on how the algo is set up for places like BlackRock or those that actually control the market and have a bunch of market makers. It's really interesting how it works, by the way. I mean, if you want to see the inside workings of how trading desks operate, there's a show on HBO Max called Industry. I don't really like that. It's got a lot of other stuff in it that, sex and stuff just happens too much in the show, and it's really distracting. But, you can skip around to it and watch it. But it shows like people on trading desks. It shows the market maker, what he does, and just all the, a lot of times there's insider trading, even within that group of people. But I guess the point I want to get across is it's a very shady, these are investment bankers, and they don't care about anybody else but themselves, so they're just trying to make money. And they reach out to these really big investors, which I guess you could call some of them institutional, but a lot of them are individuals that have a ton of money. They're trading like $300 million on some of these stocks and things, and they probably do the same with Bitcoin. But anytime there's a new offering, an IPO or something like that, their job, they have a sales desk as well, so their job is to reach out to these people that have a lot of money and try to get them to buy, right? And they don't care if this people or this person makes money or not, except that they want to keep them as a client. That's as far as they care. They want to keep having them as a client, so they do try. But anyway, it's really interesting if you watch it. I wish they would show more of the trading desk type thing, but it's more of a drama situation. But you can glean a lot of information from it if you did want to watch it. Okay, so let's look at Nansen in general real quick. Usually the first thing I look at on token inflow, and you can see this free, by the way, if you just want to make your account. Actually, in the description, you can find a link to it to get to this. But you can see this token inflow and some other features, even with a free account. So usually what I look at first is, are there a lot of staking coins that are leading, that smart money are in? And there's a few here. You got Wrapped BTC. however you say this, ETH AVE, but there's not, well, there's one, METH. There's not a whole, well, yeah, actually there is, now that I'm looking at it. So anytime you're seeing a lot of staking coins at the very top of this list, it means that things are just stagnant. There's not much smart money, what would you say, not much smart money activity in general. And actually in our Discord, usually we can tell that just by looking at our smart money wallet channels here to see how active they are. And currently they're really not that active. I know this looks like a lot, but it's really not. Like here on this DGen wallet, I don't think we've seen a trade since yesterday. Yeah, so these are curated wallets, and we know that they are very good at trading. So we only follow these wallets and see what they're buying. It doesn't mean we automatically buy. You know, we want to look at the chart first. We don't want to chase big green candles. But if we can get in early enough, then we'll jump into some of these plays with them because we do trust them. Let's see, but you know, we can just look at a couple of the tokens that might be showing up here. I mean, the 24-hour inflow of smart money is really weak right now. Usually, if it's a strong market and things are moving up and alts are doing real well, you know, on the second page, you'll see like hundreds of thousands of inflow, and you won't reach like 9,000 worth of inflow until you get to like page 6. This is page 2 already. So I would say, I don't even know if I want to look at any of these tokens because I don't think it's a really good idea to be throwing money in right now. And that's another thing we talk about with our group is, you know, is now the time to be buying? Yes, no, maybe. You know, so these are the things that we look at every few days if the market's just boring. Let's see, I think that's pretty interesting that there's a higher low on the ETH exchange flow. Let me see, how's our incoming, outgoing? It looks to me like people are buying ETH right now, but it's not a huge amount. Yeah, people haven't really been buying ETH. It's just gone down, down, down. But now it looks like people are purchasing a little bit and pulling it off of the exchange, you know, going out to their wallets, basically. And really, it looks like it was happening to a smaller extent all the way down as it's dropped. So somebody out there's buying, you know, they're trying to accumulate ETH. Not saying that's a really good idea right now. I'm just saying, you know, that's what they were doing. Let me just think if there's anything else I can show you. We could look at, let's just see here. Coin was one that popped up in our smart money trades the other day. Let's just see if there's anything else here. We could look at only new tokens. Yeah, I mean, this is just really weak numbers. You know, there's not much money going into the market right now still. Yeah. So, I would go into tokens, but I'm just not seeing anything right now that's interesting enough. I do want to point out, at least this one. This is SNSY, and it's SNSY, the ticker. Currently, it is bearish. I think that it's just in a sideways consolidation. I started to buy some here at the 30 RSI dip, especially since it bounced right off of it. But usually I like to wait to see if it's going to come down again and touch it. So for me, anywhere near the support line is a good place to buy. And then, for some reason it closed a full daily candle below that support line, then I would just get out. So if it does touch this line, I might jump in. I did jump in back here somewhere, and then I sold it right there. I told our Discord I was selling some right here. Actually, I sold it all right there because it just looked weak to me. But that is a major resistance line for it. I mean, it's a fairly new token, so it's hard to say what's major resistance and what's support yet. When they're new like that, you just don't know for sure. But with engineering robo AI, at least you have something that can give you some conviction to tell you whether this is a sell signal, if it's in a downtrend or in an uptrend. But in general, If you don't ever want to use any indicators, that's fine. But in general, if you're in a bull market and you get something like this where you can buy at a 30 RSI touch, or if it comes under 30 RSI and then crosses back above it, you'd want to buy when it crossed back above it. And then you just take some profit when it touches 70 RSI. Or again, if it gets above 70 RSI and then gets back below it, then that's where you would sell. Or even if you're in a strong bull market, you could wait until it crossed below 50 RSI after it did all this. So, that's a correct move as well. So it is possible to trade that way. Just understand that you need a lot of experience. So go back and back test a lot of charts and get used to using that method. But otherwise, if you want something that just gives you signals and you can have higher conviction, then engineering robo AI is the way to go. Let's see, so that's SNSY. I'm not really seeing, that it's ready to move up just yet. Of course, it's got a sell signal on daily chart there. Let me just see what the 3 hour shows. Okay, it does have a buy signal on the 3 hour, but you can see it's very choppy. That's usually why you don't want to be trading on a 3 hour chart, especially on an altcoin. It can work in your favor sometimes, but it would have to be very volatile to make money on it. If it's just going sideways, you're not going to make any money. In fact, you might lose some. So we did touch 30 RSI. I mean, it could come up here and touch this again, but as long as it stays above the support, then this is just the accumulation area. I do like this token. I'm not saying I'm falling in love with it, but it's one of the more interesting ideas where it is kind of a futuristic type project, and they use AI and that sort of thing, but it's designed to, how would you say it? Just in a nutshell, it's designed to preserve your loved one's memory. So like you've seen in those movies where they have a holographic image of your loved one, and since they're going to be using AI, it can actually talk back to you and have a conversation with you. So that's kind of like futuristic. I like the sci-fi stuff, so that's why it caught my eye. But I'm just kind of taking a chance on it. I'm not going to have 100% conviction in any token going forward, like I said before, because I've seen how it is on the inside, and I just can't trust anybody in this industry. I'm not going to do it because I have to protect my money. So, we're just going to try to make some money off of it. Here's the take profit areas. As soon as it gets above this bullish line here, if we get a daily candle close above that bullish line, a full daily candle, the bottom and the top above it, then I think it's go time for it. But it's just not there yet. I'm hoping that it just stays within this range for a while. And if I see that and then Bitcoin gets bullish, then at the very least I will have bought some by then, because we know once Bitcoin goes like 3 hours later or maybe a day later, the altcoins start to move up, and they all just kind of move up together. And what we're trying to find is the very best. We want to find that 10x, 40x, 100x. And some tokens will do that if we have that next uptrend. So, just find your tokens that you like that, and, watch the areas of conviction. So if I lose that level with a daily candle below it, then I'll just get out until it gets back above it. Or if I get an AI buy signal. And we have all of those already in the system here. So the second that there's an AI buy signal, we'll know it. It'll pop up here. Okay, ALPH is another interesting one. I just wanted to make mention of it real quick because, and I'm trying to remember exactly, I think what we're waiting for on this one is the ASIC miners for the people that mine this token. There's a guy on Twitter called Roy Mustang, and he's talked about, he has a high conviction for this one because whenever tokens like this have ASIC miners become available and people start purchasing them to mine a token, that's usually when price appreciates and starts moving up. And it looks like it's holding its gains fairly well as well. There's a inverted head and shoulders here, triple top, just in general right here. Usually I would talk about triple tops at the very top, but mostly want to just talk about how it's seeing resistance here. But as long as it's above the bullish line, you're fine. I think there's a chance it could come back down to support, if Bitcoin got weak, because you are rejecting at the 50 RSI here. But you can see if you would have bought the 30 RSI right there, and that's the first time that it truly touched it, you would have made a lot of money, because here's your 70 RSI that you could have sold at. I just wanted to make a point about that. You would have made a 2x off of that in just a few days. I don't know if there's any other tokens I want to talk about. I mean, we cover a lot of tokens in our, I think I talked about them in a recent video too, but we have a lot of tokens that we cover in our spreadsheets, in our long-term conviction channel, that sort of thing. I think Acquire FI came up recently as well. Let's just look at it. So this is an RWA play. It's lesser known. So it's a very small, you call it a micro cap. But again, as long as it's above the secondary support, it's a good play. Any close below it, I'd be careful. But, no buy signal just yet. Let me bring this thing up. There's no buy signal currently. It's kind of indecisive, really. When these candles turn gray like this, they're color-coded with Engineering Robo AI. So it had an AI sell signal, but now the candles are gray, meaning there's kind of, some indecision, and it could hold here. And you can see momentum's coming up. Let me see what the longer time frame looks like. I mean, RSI is pretty much flat, so there's nothing really to see there, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's really ready to go anywhere just yet, but, could be another good play for a very low cap, real world asset play. Okay, how many minutes are we in? Been recording 36 minutes. We can go a few more minutes here. Let me see if there's anything else I can show you. I'm just looking for interesting plays here. KUJI, I haven't looked at that one in a while. Okay, so it's back down to support. Yeah, see here, so we didn't really hit the 30 RSI, but notice how I want to make a point of this. So it got above the 70 RSI. So if it didn't get a rejection there, actually that's the weekly, sorry. Well, it's a good example anyway. I mean, I probably wouldn't normally be looking at a weekly chart for this, but notice how it got above the 70 RSI and then it broke down below it. So this right here, the breakdown below 70 RSI after it entered it, that would be a sell signal. Or this here where it was a lower high near the 70, that would be a sell signal. Or you just wait for it to cross below the 50 RSI. So in a bull market, if you had already purchased somewhere down here, just let it run. I mean, you can, it's really how simple it is. You could just wait until it crossed back below the 50 RSI if you wanted. So just pretend we're looking at a daily chart, even though it's a weekly, and you saw something like this, that would be the way to play it. But you don't have to wait and sell everything there. You could have been taking profit here, here, and then take it all, the rest of it out right there. So just understand that's how you would play that 70 RSI profit-taking zone. And then if you just flip that, if we inverted the scale on this and didn't really consider the price action like this. So, you're waiting for a buy signal, it crosses below the 30 RSI, and then it crosses back above it, then that would be your buy signal. And then on the flip side, you could even wait until, it created a higher low right here and bought there. I wonder what that would have looked like. Like if we flip this. Can I flip that one? I think I can. Yeah. Yeah, so that still would have been fine too. So if this was a bottom, you would have bought there, you would have bought here, and you could have even bought as it crossed above the 50 RSI. So not only, can you take profits slowly, you don't have to take them all at once, but you can also, place your buys at a certain interval as well. You don't have to buy 100% at a certain area. You can slowly buy. So just remember that. And these are inverted charts that I'm looking at, so here's what they really look like. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me see here. Are there any questions? Let me just check. I told Discord if they have any questions to let me know. So SNSY, I looked at that. That was one of the questions. Oh, they're having their September summit today. That's interesting. Yeah, so just going back to SNSY. So here's the one that person in our group is talking about. I mean, it's kind of interesting when altcoin projects start talking about, you know, their project or having summits or having conferences, that sort of thing, in a downtrend. Sometimes that can indicate that the bottom isn't far away. You know, so why would a company do something like that? Why would they have a summit? Of course, it's to make money. They want to draw investors to their project, right? So they're looking to draw big investors to their project. And in fact, let me look at something here if I can remember the website. I mean, you have to think about think in terms of being a salesperson, or think in terms of being a business owner. You know, what would you be doing to drum up more business, to make your company more profitable, or to get more eyes on it, and just to build your brand, basically. I wish I could remember the name of that website. I can't right now for some reason. Anyway, it's this site that shows how many, actually I'll just bring up let me bring up the spreadsheet. Usually I wouldn't show these because this is for members only, but let me see if I can find, I just want to see real quick here if there's any specific VCs that are involved with SNSY. If I can find it again. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So this is a high conviction play. Partnerships are with Fetch AI, Layer 0, and AIOZ. And here's what it looks like. You know, this is our spreadsheet. I have the charts linked here, all of that. So it's really easy for you to take advantage of using it. Everybody in our group has access to this. Yeah, so SNSY, yeah, it's interesting that it's partnered with Fetch AI, because, you know, FET had a really good run last cycle, I believe it was. And Layer 0, DEAI, it's been doing pretty well this cycle too, or it did for a little while. Yeah, so high conviction. Here is the website for it, if I can pull it up. Let's see here. I just wanted to look if they had any rewards or awards or anything. Yeah, so it's the path to digital immortality, autonomous digital replicas. So autonomous basically meaning that it has its own personality. You know, the loved one, the AI kind of controls how they respond back to you, but they're acting on the behalf of, or acting on your behalf and connecting through generations. I've seen this in action, by the way, with VR, and it was a mom that was talking to her daughter that had passed, and I'm talking about a young child that had passed, and it was just a mess. I mean, not a mess in the way that it was necessarily bad for the mom. Well, I guess in a way it is. I mean, you can just think of all the psychological issues with that, how you would get attachment to that AI, and you would never really let go. So I do have, you know, on one side I have a question, is this even good for humanity? Because, you know, we were supposed to experience loss and be able to deal with that. This wouldn't allow us to do that. So, you know, there's things like that to think about. But in terms of business, you know, it's a really good product if they can pull it off. And I think that they've already got some stuff. Yeah, here's Try Sensei. So they've already got some stuff here. I believe the CEO has talked about how he has a Twitter. Yeah, there he is. No, that's the CTO. So he has a Twitter bot running that acts on his behalf and posts on his behalf. And people are really impressed with it. I'll be honest, I haven't really gone through the website much. Maybe this is the guy. Yeah, this is the founder, Dan Thompson. Here's his personalized replica, interactive applications, continuous learning. Okay, so it has machine learning as well. But, you know, you've seen a couple websites like this already that have historical figures or maybe fictional characters or, you know, celebrities here or something that will talk to you So a lot of people already have stuff like this. So I'm not saying this is groundbreaking at all, but the digital immortality portion where you'll actually be able to talk to your loved one is the part that I think could do really well. What else do they have here? Yeah, so they've already got pricing. They're probably already dealing with companies. We know they already have partnerships. So anyway, yeah. We'll see how it progresses. Hopefully it works out for them. I mean, you could see even with this, like little kids wanting to talk to Barbie. I don't know. Maybe this isn't for kids. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, people that like Beyonce, stuff like that. Surprised to see BitBoy Crypto there. That's funny. So yeah, interesting anyway. We'll see how the product progresses. I think that's about all I wanted to cover. Let me just double check some things here. Oh yeah, this person that was talking about the summit posted it in our Discord. Yeah, I mean the founder is very active on this. So even though I talked about not falling in love with a project, I think it could have some. It could be a disruptor. It could be one of these tokens that does real well because nobody else is doing anything like it. They're kind of first to market. That's one of the most important things with finding a good product to invest in. Okay, well, let's end it there. That's about, 45 minutes in. And we'll do another one of these next week, I hope. As things get more and more bullish, I'll do more and more videos. I post every day in our Discord, so if you want to join us, look in the description, join us there. And, feel free to ask any questions on Twitter and post any comments below if you have any questions on anything we talked about or if you want me to cover something else. And hopefully you got something out of this. That's my goal. I want everybody to learn something. I want everybody to feel like they're coming away with value, whether you subscribe to me or not anywhere. So anyway, yeah, I hope you all have a good week, and we will do another one real soon. Thanks.